Dr. Matt here at Reform Family Chiropractic right here in McKinney. And we're continuing our series of Whiteboard Wednesdays where we dive just a little bit deeper, hoping to give you more information to help you unlock and understand what's going on with your kiddo or with yourself. So we're just really jumping into that. We've already talked about last Wednesday, we talked about when the gas pedal's on. Now let's talk about when the brake is stuck on. And I started with this because this is just a great quote from one of our moms. He just moves slower. He checks out all the time. My kiddo is not connecting, struggles with what? Visual, sensory, coordination, balance, spatial awareness, okay? One of our early patients, she came in and she was just really struggling to hold attention. All she wanted to do was hold her bunny. You know, she was looking for what? Sensory touch, something that she could control, and everything else around her felt like chaos. So for her, what did she do? There was no behavior. She was in a great, loving environment at home, like most of your kiddos are, but she just could not connect. So what was happening? Grades were going downhill, not able to finish things, not able to, complete anything, because what was happening is that brake was stuck on. And when we talk about the brake system in the nervous system, we talk about the parasympathetic. Okay, I know that's rest, digest, and recover is a simple way to remember it, but it's simply the brake pedal for the body. And when that is working too hard and the brakes are on, if you're old enough to remember having a safety brake, okay, you could drive with the safety brake on, but it was like the car was dragging a 1,000-pound weight. So that's what these kiddos are dealing with, is when they are struggling with that ADD or attention deficit. They can't hold a thought, they can't focus, or they're overwhelmed with sensory, their visual coordination or spatial awareness just seems off. Mom, trust your gut. Trust your gut, because that usually is one of those early indicators for us that brake is stuck on. They're locked. When something is locked in, it is really hard to move. Okay, you got to have the key, right? You got to have the key to unlock it. And that's what we want to look at, is that the nervous system is the key. It needs to be unlocked. The nervous system needs to be woken up, is the best way to put it. I put down here, wake up. That's what we want to do. We want to wake it up. We want to get that sympathetic part of the nervous system going. We got to get that gas pedal on so they have balance. When we live in one extreme or another in our lives, we tend to have to run a really far way to get to the other side. And we want to be in the middle of that court, so to speak, so that you can respond accordingly to what stress comes your way and know how to handle it. So when our kiddos are struck with a brake on, they can't get anywhere quick enough. And then they get frustrated inside because they can't share with you what they feel, or they can't process the information, or they're struggling with their coordination, or sensory is just too much or not enough, or they're just visually trying to figure out all the information, and so they can't do it, so they shut down. So when that mom said he just moved slower, that was a red flag for me. They just said, hey, let's talk more about that. We went into his birth story. There had been a start and stop throughout the birth when he was really, really little. There was a vacuum extraction. There was some birth trauma that had been there that everyone had told her was just normal. It's not normal. It's common. It's just not normal. And it has an impact. So for him, that began at an early stage. And they had a lot of stress early on in her pregnancy and in moving and transition. And I know this is a lot of families that are moving from California or are moving from any state to Texas. Everyone's moving here because they want to be part of this great state. We love that. But that comes with a lot of stress. So when that brake is stuck on, we refer to that as a drunken bull. They just check out. They just can't hold a thought. They just don't seem to really care. And that is really hard for teachers. That's hard for schools. That's hard for most systems, hard for sports programs, because this kid just seems like they're just off. But really what's going on is that brake is stuck on. And what we do is we do a full scan to see what their nervous system is really doing, okay? We take in together all the history and information that you've already been talking about to see where those milestones as a baby, where those things as a toddler and as in early adolescence or into elementary school, how are they playing into this whole story? What are the stress, chemical, emotional, and physical that you walk through? And how is it playing out? All of these things are factors, but no one talks about that. So that's why we want to bring this to light, that your kiddo may be locked with that brake stuck on, not making the progress they want, dragging a 1,000-pound weight. We call that a drunken bull, and some of these signs you're looking for is there's the visual issues. They're struggling with coordination. They're struggling with spatial awareness, sensory, balance, or it just seems they're moving slower, or it's hard for them just to wake up. Their brain, their body, their presence. So take all this into consideration, and when we look about this, here's the big part of this, is we want to affect that central nervous system, that CNS. That is the master control switch for everything, okay? And when I start seeing these issues pop up, these are indicators. So listen to your gut, mom, dad, and tell us what's going on with this story so we can make these connections, because all of this is connected to how the central nervous system is gathering information, okay? Proprioception. And then it's also about how it coordinates it. And that's what we want to help you with, is naturally through time and repetition, through the chiropractic adjustment, we're able to help that nervous system start to wake up, to get everything moving again, to get that brain and body reconnected naturally. And that's where we always want to start, naturally. Let's let the body do the work for us before we do anything else. So if you have any other questions, please reach out to our office. We'd love to help you, see what we can do to answer more questions. Dr. Matt Davis at Reformed Family Chiropractic, and we can't wait to help your drunken bull wake up and get that break off.